Marhaba. I'm Christopher Hibma, and this is Maharat, Producing in Unproductive Times by Atijahat Independent Culture. This series was created for you, performance makers in the Arab region. It's our aim to celebrate creative producers and the skills it takes to make things happen. On today's episode, we will be talking about pitching your work internationally with Ahmed Al-Attar from Cairo. Have you ever wondered what presenters and producers look for as they program their seasons, or what might be the best information to share with them? Are you curious about how you can tour your work? Well, this week we'll explore answers to these questions. As a producer who has curated residencies and festivals in the US, in Africa, and across the Arab region, I have developed some organizing principles that are universal across cultural contexts. I advise artists, and especially artists from the Arab region, to think about producing their work from the very start of their creative process. When producing a new piece, ask yourself questions like, how can I activate my network to ensure my work is ultimately experienced by audiences? And what groundwork might I need to lay with potential producers at the beginning of the process in order to meet this goal? Often, a creative producer takes interest in a project, supports its development, and then fundraises for it. They're also responsible for pitching this work to presenters. If you're a self-producing artist, you function both as the generative artist and the creative producer. Pitches are typically presented to other producers, festivals, curators, or organizations who might be interested in supporting the development of or presenting of your work. Your creative team can support the pitching process as well by thinking about what themes and core elements of the work might be especially resonant for presenters. I'd like to encourage you to form meaningful relationships with producers and presenters whose mission aligns with your own. The producers are themselves human who are invested in culture and passionate about art. Remember, pitching is a two-way dialogue. It's not wise to approach producers with a transactional mindset. The most meaningful artist-producer relationships emerge because both have a shared way of working. Engage every new conversation in alignment with the art that you want to make. Next, do your research. Become familiar with the landscape and get to know the producer. Make sure you share iterations of your work at different phases. Doing your homework will free you up to be brave and ask for the specific support you need at different phases of your project's development. There are more tips to be shared on how to build robust global relationships. I've compiled a detailed list of ways to engage with international presenters and invite you to click on the link below for more detail. It's important to acknowledge that networking, pitching, and cultivating new professional relationships is challenging for many artists. You might prefer to focus your efforts on generating the work itself and then have someone else pitch your work independently. That's okay too. And many of the tools we will share during the rest of this series will be helpful to your practice beyond pitching and networking. Today, I'm excited to welcome Egyptian director, playwright, and producer Ahmed Al-Attar to our series. Ahmed founded the Downtown Contemporary Arts Festival, known as D-CAF, in Cairo, and is also the artistic director of the Falaki Theater.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Ahmed. Oh, it's so good to
Hi,
see you.
good to see you too.
Do you have a set way that you pitch projects that's like a best practice across the board, or do you customize how you talk about a project with a particular producer?
Mhm. I'd say a bit of both. So, um, first of all, there is, uh, when you're going to a focus or you're going to a conference or whatever, you look at the guest list. That's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing you do is you look who's there. So you're going to you're going to find people that you know very well, people that you know a little bit, but you're happy to see again, people that you don't know at all, but you've heard of, and people that you don't know at all and you have never heard of.
Yeah.
And that kind of you plan accordingly. I mean, as a producer or as a programmer or as an artist, because as you know, I have the three hats. So but if even if you're only one of these three, that's basically what first thing you need to do is to know who's there, and to know what are you gonna who you're gonna approach and with what and why. Another thing is you I mean you need to know what you're pitching and why you're pitching it to that person. You can't just pitch it to everyone all the time, and so you need to know what are you doing and when and with whom. Just not just open up to everyone and say everything all the time. It doesn't work, because again, everyone has their own interest, and you need to know that. And this is part of your business, is knowing what festival will work for this project and what will not. If you're doing a dance piece, you're not going to go talk to a festival that rarely programs dance. I mean, it's just these are basic notions. Of course, things get more complicated. Goes to what kind of dance they're presenting, or what kind of audience they're interested to attract or to target, and therefore it will determine what their choices are. Programmers and producers get approached all the time. Okay, everyone wants to go to Cairo, like everyone wants to go to Paris, like everyone wants to go to Douala or Montevideo. I mean, I'm saying everyone because it's not the city, and it's not all artists want to go everywhere. So in some sense, it's not like a preference. It's like you're going somewhere you've never been before with your show, and that's something you want to do. So in some sense, there's not like this touristic attraction to one place or another. Of course, there are major festivals that you want to go to, not because of the prestige they represent in your career and of the opportunities they represent. I mean, if you're in the Avignon selection, that is a very great exposure. I mean, everyone, that's a very prestigious festival. And if you're in the Kennedy Center, if things like that, you want to. But usually, these people, they approach you. That's my experience.
They've heard about your work. They've
exactly.
met you somewhere.
Yeah, they've heard about your work through other programmers or in their search, and they find you. They go for it. Okay. They don't really work with dossier and all of that stuff. Maybe other programmers might. But these festivals, because the stakes are so high, and everyone wants to be there, so they have they have to keep. It's not they have a luxury, but they have to keep the standard. They have to see the shows before they program them, especially if it's the first time they program you. And so this is a very tricky thing. These big festivals, I would say anyway, send them, but just know that they will come to you when they hear about you, and they will see it before they make any decision or any move or anything.
Catch my whole river conversation with Ahmed at the link below. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you found this episode informative and useful. Comment below and on our social channels with any further questions you might have. In the next episode, we will discuss collaborations beyond the region with Mike van Graan, a playwright and cultural curator who will join us from Cape Town, South Africa. Ma'asalama.